want you to think about when you come here today and we think about fighting. First of all, what I teach you here today, don't go home and teach us. Don't go home and try to teach us. You don't know enough. It's like trying to say, I'm going to go home and I'm going to teach you Chinese after having one class Chinese, okay? Doesn't mean that you can't work on things with the people that understand this system, but if you go home and you try to teach this right out of the box to other fighters that are there, it's just going to increase levels of frustration for you. Okay. Some of you might have seen this class already. The best teacher of this material is Ducis. Okay? He's from Artemisia. He and I have known each other for about 24 years. And it's funny, he was knighted when he was, I believe, 17 years old. Okay. And I was, I think, about 20 or 21 when I ran into him. We ran into each other at an event. We're similar heights, similar build. He's a little heavier than I am right now. You know, we've spent a lifetime apart from each other, and because we have the same types of styles, essentially, in body types, we've come to a lot of conclusions, and we had to make adaptations based upon our size. We're much smaller men fighting much larger men. And so really, when you get into the philosophy behind this, fighting is fighting, and that's what it comes to. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're fighting with your hands, it doesn't matter if you're fighting with your feet. I don't care if you're fighting with rapier. I don't care if you're fighting with pole arm, two swords, sword, shield. I'm not here to say this is the one true way as far as a style goes. This is not A-frame. This is not Old Castle. This is not Goofy Foot Forward. That's not what this is, guys. This is actually to teach you how to fight. You don't know how to fight. And it's not your fault. You just haven't been instructed to fight. Now, that's a pretty, arrogant statement to say you don't know how to fight. Okay. Probably a more accurate statement is you don't know how to think about fighting. And that's what we're really saying. When that person knows how to fight, that person's a good fighter. You just don't know what you're really saying. The biggest obstacle that we have as a fighting community is we do not speak the same language. Okay? What we're going to teach you here today is a language that everyone can use. We'll teach you an approach that all excellent fighters, all your top 10% of your fighters across the SCA, across any martial art, are doing these things. And the reason why they're the top 10% is because they have mastered these things more than other individuals. Okay? Bronze is not that fast, guys. Everybody thinks he's fast, but he's not that fast. No. What he has done is he has mastered these principles. He might not explain them to you in this fashion, but as an experienced fighter, you start talking with him, you'll understand that he's actually doing the same thing that all the other top end fighters are doing. And I use him because he is probably one of the 2 or 3 best fighters across the SCA. We just happen to be fortunate enough to have him here. So, even if you don't fight, you can take this class and become an excellent fighting coach. Let's think about it, guys. Most NFL coaches who are experts in their field, they don't play NFL football. They didn't play collegiate level football. They might have been lucky to play high school football. So think about that, okay? Think about that from an instructor point of view. Someone can be informed, but they have had to spend the time increasing that knowledge base to become informed. So, this kind of comes back to that original statement. Don't try to do this at home. Not yet. And just because you take this class once doesn't mean that you're not going to get something out of it the next time you take it, and the next time, and the next time, and the next time. If you ever have the opportunity to see Sean's class, you should be there. You should go. I'm not bragging. I give you this information so that you understand that it is repeatable. I've been a knight now for 13 years. Since 13 years. In that time, I've instructed, coached, and trained 10 other individuals to the level of knight. A lot of success in a short amount of time. Now, there would have been more success if I would have been able to communicate to those students quicker. That's my fault. What Sean has given me is he has given me a language that I can communicate with people. And as an example, I have 2 students that I've been working with, a gentleman that's been fighting about 20 years. He's made more progress in 6 months than he has in the whole 20 years. Right? Because he has a systematic way of thinking about it, approaching fighting, and executing. So let's get into it. I have all this stuff available, so if you guys want to send me a message on Facebook or send me an email, I can forward it to you so you can kind of look back and give you the highlights. Okay, so what's really happening in a fight? You're going to laugh, but there's 5 things that happen in a fight, and that's it. I think. You have range. Okay, so let's talk about range. Most of the people around here have heard about it. Let's talk about range. You specifically need to see a sword for this. But it can be a pole arm, it could be a spear, it could be anything, but sword is the most convenient and probably the most readily used weapon. This is my sword, this is what I use, it's 36 inches long, some people use shorter ones, some people use longer ones, it doesn't really matter, but whatever you're comfortable with. Okay. So, we get our sword, we get our shield. Zygmunt, if you just stand up there and be my crash test dummy, I'm not going to hit you or anything. You don't even need that, you can just stand there. You just demonstrate purposes. Okay, you stand over there. Okay, so we're here. Alright, this is B range, alright guys, this is really nothing's going to happen out here that you don't ever want to get caught in the aspect of, well, he can't hit me. Bang, you're dead, okay, because we'll talk about transition here in a little bit. So we want to familiarize ourselves with a couple terms so we'll have a baseline of information to go from. So this is D range, this is the safest place that we could be in. Right, we're really not engaged. We're going to really be mindful of this. Okay. C range is here for me. That might not be his C range, but this is my C range. Okay. Right. We'll talk about the different sides of the offense and the defense. We're going to talk about offense currently. And I'm going to spend most of the time speaking about offense because from a defensive perspective, you pretty much know everything that you need to know because you're hardwired that way. It's the fight or flight. Well, 98% of people want to run. They don't want to get hit. They'll do your reactions that they'll do to protect themselves. However, very few individuals are willing to do violence to another individual. I happen to be one of those people. Some people might say that's a little crazy, but that's okay. So this is C range, okay? I can hit it. Alright? Now, C range on the sword, very tip of the sword, very fast, not a lot of power. Very, very fast. Okay? B range is where the gunfighting really starts. Okay? We're in B range here. About 4 to 6 inches down on the sword, got about 12 to 14 inches in there. Okay? So that's B range. If you're standing in here and not doing something, you're dead. You're dead, guys. You're going to be dead. And then we have A range, okay? And then A range on the stick, face of the sword, lots of power, not a lot of speed, not a lot of versatility. So the optimum range, and then you can get in here and clinch and start hugging on an A range. Okay. So the optimum range is in B range. Okay, where I can employ the most advantageous part of the sword of the combination of speed and power. So, that's what we say on the range side. It's very important that you understand and control range. Okay? And this is what footwork's about. So we control our range. We're constantly fighting. So we switch our feet up.